Hey students, so this week we're going to talk about ratios, rates, and unit rates and proportions. Rates and unit rates is kind of the same idea. Ratios and proportions and rates, basically. So ratios. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities of the same type of stuff. Ratios can be written in three different ways. So for some of you, this is review, which is nice. So let's work on that. Examples, in a class of 20 students, there are 12 girls. Write the ratio of the number of girls to total students. Notice that they ask you girls to total. So the girls will be on top as a fraction and the total will be on the bottom. Using a column, there's another way, 12 to 20. And then using the word to. So 12 to 20 students. 12 girls to 20 total students. Ratios can be reduced. That means that you can divide the fraction. If the fraction divides, then you should write an equivalent fraction ratio. So we have 12 over 20. We can divide by, let's see the highest number that divides both top and bottom. So we can find a number. So let's find 4. 12 divided by 4, that's 3. And then 20 divided by 4, it's 5. And that's the lowest it can be. Using a column, 3 to 5, and then using the word 3 to 5. These are the three ways you can write a ratio. All right, let's do an example. There are 14 red marbles and 20 blue marbles in a bag of marbles. These are marbles. What is the ratio of red to blue marbles in the simplest form? Remember, red goes in the first, so in the top, so it would be our numerator, and blue goes on the bottom, our denominator, because that's the order it talks about the question. So red to blue, there would be 14 over 20, which is red to blue. And write them in the simplest form. Well, we have to divide. The highest number that divides both would be 2. Notice that it has to be both top and bottom divided by the same number when you are simplifying. 14 divided by 2, that is 7. And then 20 divided by 2, that is 10. Because 7 is a prime number, it does not divide any longer. So you leave it like that. This is the simplest form. B, what is the ratio of blue marbles to total marbles? Total marbles, how many total marbles are there? Well, we're going to have to add. 14 plus 20, that is 34 total. Okay, and then we can do our ratio, blue to total. So blue, there are 20 to total, which is 34 total marbles. And then we are putting it in simplest form. We can divide this by 2. That would be 10 over 17. So 10 blue over total. That is a ratio. Okay, let's keep going. Now we talk about rates. So a rate is a ratio comparing two different units. In a ratio, a regular ratio, we compare same units. But when we're comparing two different units, we are talking about a rate. So a rate would be something like this. A bike travels 54 miles in 4 hours. How do we write that rate? 54 over 4 hours, right? You can write it like that. Okay, so you can write equivalent rates by multiplying or dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. So equivalent means the same. So the same type of, so if you have 54 over 4, if you multiply top and bottom by 2, you get an equivalent ratio, which is 108 over 8. That would be an equivalent ratio, miles per hour. Okay, so that's what it means. You can multiply or divide. So say they give you this one, If you were gonna find an equivalent ratio, you can also divide top and bottom by the same number, and you get 54/4, which is an equivalent ratio. Okay, you either multiply or divide, but it has to be top and bottom by the same number. All right, let's see what I mean by that. So it says Sierra can make 8 friendship bracelets in 2 hours. Which of the following rates is equivalent to 8 bracelets over 2 hours? All right, let's see. Is there any number multiplied or divided by 8 that will give you 6? No, this is not equivalent. This neither, because 8 does not divide by 3. So nope. What about this one? Nope, either, because 8, if you multiply by 2, it won't never give you 10 or any number here, but this one does. If you multiply this times 2, top and bottom, you will get 16/4, which is this one. That's an equivalent fraction or equivalent ratio. Ratios are fractions. Yes, they are. So Mark can type 44 words in 2 minutes. Which of the following is equivalent to that rate? Okay, so if we multiply this, can we get this somehow? Nope. But we can get this one, right? Because 44/2, if we multiply by 2, top and bottom, we get 84/4, which is this one. Okay. All right, so this is finding equivalent rates. Okay, the next topic, it's unit rates. A unit rate is a ratio of 2 different measurements where the second measurement is 1. So in kid language, it's the amount. So cost, miles, number of objects, etc. for one item, 1 mile, 1 hour, 1 ounce, etc. Example, rate of 180 miles in 3 hours. Okay, so if we have 180 miles in 3 hours, how many would there be in 1 hour? So if you divide, like we do here, you divide 180 by 3 hours, you get 60 miles per hour. So to turn this into a unit rate, we need the denominator to be 1. In other words, we need to find out how many miles were traveled in 1 hour. So you divide 180 divided by 3, you get 60 miles per hour. Okay. All right, we can use unit rates when shopping to help us determine the better deal. Example, you can buy 40 ounces jar of peanut butter for $5.25, or you can buy 15 ounces jar for $2.10. Which is the better deal? How would you know which one to buy? If we find out the cost per ounce for each jar, then we can determine which is a better price. To do this, we need to divide. Always put money on the top. Okay, let's do that. So the first deal was $5.25 over 40 ounces. And the second deal was $2.10 for 15 ounces. Notice that I put the money on the top, right? Money here. Okay. Now to find the unit price, you're going to divide. Go ahead and divide. It would be, I'll use your calculator, right? So we got 5.25 divided by 40 on the first deal. That's 0.13. You can just do 2 decimals. And then 210 divided by 15 ounces. That's 0.14. Very close. Very, very close. That is money per 1 ounce. Okay, so since the 40 yard is $0.13 per ounce and the 15 ounce jar is 0.14 per 1 ounce, then which one is cheaper? This one, right? Is the better deal. You get more for the money, right? So you pay less for a little bit more of the peanut butter. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's do another example here. A car travels 420 miles on a 15 gallons of gas. Express this as a unit rate. Okay, so 4 20 and 15 gallons. So you divide 420 divided by 15, and you get 28 miles per 1 gallon. And that's it. At one store, you can purchase 7 apples for $5.46. At another store, you can get 5 apples for $3.95. Which one is the better deal? All right, we put the money on top for $5.46 for 7 apples. That's the first deal. The second deal is $3.95 for 5 apples. And then you divide. 546 divided by 7, that is 0.78. And 395 divided by 5, that is 0.79. So this one is a better deal per apple. So you're paying 78 cents per 1 apple. Here you're paying 79 cents for 1 apple. All right, let's keep going. So one online music site is advertising 15 song downloads for $6.75. So that is, on the first one, it's $6.75 over 15. And the second one is 12 songs downloads for $5.76. So that's the second one. It would be $5.76 over 12 songs. And then you divide. Which one is the better deal? Divided by 15. That is 0.45 per song. And then 5.75 divided by 12. That is 48 cents per song. So this one is the better deal. All right, a proportion. A proportion is an equation stating that two ratios, fractions, are equal. Remember, fractions and ratios are the same thing. We can tell if two ratios are equal if their cross products are equal. So remember that butterfly method? We're going to do that. Example, the average classroom at one school has 2 boys for every girl. If there are 12 boys in a room, how many girls will be there? One way to figure this out is by drawing, okay? So I have 2 boys, 1 girl, 2 boys, 1 girl, 2 boys, and there are 12 boys, right? There are 6 boys here, and then 12 boys, and then 1 girl per 2 boys. It's a lot of drawing if you had to do 56 boys, right? So we can set up a proportion to solve instead. For 2 boys, there's 1 girl. Okay, so how many girls would be if we had 12 boys? We use cross multiplication. So there is a method called the butterfly method. That would be fine. So you multiply this times this and this times this. And then you divide. So 1 times 12 equals 2 times x. So this times this, that times that. 1 times 12 is 12 equals 2 times x is 2x. And then to get rid of that x, this is multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is division. So you divide on both sides to get rid of that 2 on this side. 2 cancels here, so x equals 12 divided by 2, that is 6. There are 6 girls in the class. Okay, we're going to keep practicing this. All right, so Paul reads 5 pages in 4 minutes. So that's 5 pages in 4 minutes. How many pages can he read in 7 minutes? So if I put minutes down here, I'm going to put minutes on the same side. So this is minutes and minutes. So how many pages can he read? That's what they're asking. We're going to use the butterfly method again. Cross multiply. 5 times 7 equals 4 times x. And then you multiply. 5 times 7, that's 35, equals 4x. And then you divide by 4 to get rid of that 4 on this side. You divide on both sides. So that will be 4 divided by 4 is 1. So x equals, and then 35 divided by 4. That is 875. 875 what? Pages. All right. And then it says 15 dance tickets were sold in 1 half hour. If this rate continues, how long would you expect to take to sell 270 tickets? So how would we put this down? So it's 15 tickets sold in, well, let's just minutes, 0.30, right? Because that's half of an hour. If this rate continues, how long would I expect to, okay? So the tickets go up here because these tickets go up there. I put the tickets on the same numerator, right? And this would be time, how long? And then we are using cross butterfly method. We first multiply 0.30 times 270, can use this, equals 15 times x. 0.30 times 270 is 81, equals 15x, and then you divide by 15. To get rid of that 15, you get 81 divided by 15, that's 5.4. 5.4 what? Hours to sell 270 tickets. Okay? All right, I hope this helps. See you later.